Hi, welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur, and today we will be starting with episode 68. In this episode, I will be reading the actual documentations that were submitted with the protected disclosure. So we are going to be rewinding back. Basically, I will be reading my own words, what I wrote when I wrote this letter. So these incidents and these allegations are my in the moment evidence. So I've basically bullet point the key elements or the key pointers of what took place while I was working for my employer. When I read this letter aloud for the first time, for me, even though it was so long ago, it felt like it was only yesterday. And in this letter, it contained bullet points of timeline and specific incidents and allegations that took place within the moment at that point of time. This letter is dated the 5th of May 2010. The car accident itself took place on the 18th of March 2010. On this particular day, I was actually on annual leave. I was busy involved in a hip hop group. I took off annual leave this day because I was involved in doing fundraising. So this is the letter that was written to the Commissioner of Police. It was my first letter that I sent to the Commissioner of Police. There were several other agencies you could have sent the protected disclosure to, but I thought it made sense to send it to the police because there were some pretty serious allegations that was going on. First, it was the workplace bullying. Then my driver's license got stolen at work. My identity was stolen at this time. And then the car accident that I had a reason of belief was connected to the cybercrime, keeping in mind I'm consistently subject to criminal harassment that's within the workplace and public all the way home. So that's how it's been for me. And I wanted it to stop. They were targeting me. I was singled out and I had to kind of ride the whole journey, ride it out and basically just be consistent with my complaints and incidents as things happen. You got to keep in mind it's cybercrime. So this is what I'm proving. These are my allegations. These are my incidents that happened within the moment. Legally, that's what the protected disclosure is for. The protected disclosure for complaints where there's serious wrongdoing in any organisation. Any company, government agency, and they usually do start from privacy breaches. This is the first letter that I actually wrote to the police, so I thought it was the first letter I should read first because it kind of give in full detail my allegations of what I was subject to within the moment at work. So at this point of time, I was living at 10 Trojan Cres in New Lynn, and the date is 5th of May 2010. Out of all agencies, I just felt it was logical to send it to the Commissioner of Police for obvious reasons. I sent it to So I will read in my own words. These are my within the moment evidence that actually happened. To whom this may concern, I would like to formally submit a protected disclosure reporting form. I have reason to believe that I have been subject to workplace bullying where I have suffered and I have felt victimized to the point that I have felt unsafe in my workplace and even in the public. Over the last couple of years, I've had to endure cruel, vicious rumours, gossips, and false accusations made against me from some people from within my workplace and church. I have reason to believe that these individuals have been passing on information about me for the purpose to destroy my reputation or anything positive that may be going on in my life. I am disadvantaged in regards to any work promotion and are constantly being picked on for every little mistakes. I have felt unsafe at work and even in public because of these individuals. My reasons are as follows. I have reason to believe my privacy has been seriously invaded. These individuals have worked together to ruin my reputation within my workplace environment, and some have even undermining me to the point where they have made it their business to undermine me to my doctor, even my bank, where I bank bracket Westpac, immigration, land transport, inland revenue, telecom, and my counsellor, Ruth Hewlett, landlord, for the purpose to make it hard for me to support my children, to pay my bills, or to make me leave my job. At this a point of the evidence or in my letter, I've described different agencies that I felt was involved or, involving my personal profile. Like I knew I felt like I was trapped, but I was also in very a dangerous set of circumstance. I knew my privacy was gone and they were using my personal profile for the wrong reasons, whether it was to keep up to date of when I move or or of my address, and it was all consistent with the criminal harassment or the criminal micromanaging that was happening at work and church. I've basically described the agencies that it was affecting with the cybercrime, the undermining, and that because I ended up writing letter of complaints to all these agencies at this time because I knew that I just felt attacked in every area, and that's what I was going through. Go to episode 29, where the heading is More Evidence. In that episode, I basically spoke about in full details of two separate car accidents that took place during my journey. They were incidents that I felt during my journey were suspicious and were signs that made me believe that I was being specifically targeted. I didn't know why I was being targeted at this time. So that was in two separate car accidents that I felt that they were deliberate. But the second car accident on this video clip is the one related to this documentations that I'm reading today. Summary of facts. Recently, I have been involved in a car accident, and I believe this incident was a setup. My reasons are as follows. On Monday, 1st of March 2010, my driver's license was stolen from my wallet in the office. This particular day, we had a industrial action, and at 10 a.m., staff and delegates were advised to go to staff tea room to wait until 11 a.m. for further notice. On Tuesday, 2nd of March 2010, because I had a trip to Rotorua, I looked for my driver's license as it was the only photo identification I had, and I needed it for my trip to Rotorua the next day. That was when I realized that it was missing. Two things have come out already, reading those 2 points. One, I'm a PSA delegate, so I'm talking about an industrial action, and I was involved in that. Two, I've mentioned here that I went away on a trip. I had a trip to Rotorua. It was to do as a workshop for my role as a deputy registrar, and so I was travelling. I had to catch a plane to go to Rotorua at this time, and then that's when I realised my driver's license was missing, because you carry it with you everywhere, and I recall leaving it locked up. We have a key that each staff have a desk where they can lock their personal stuff, their bags, and no one else has that key except the spare key that's usually the managers have access to, because we're in court all day, every day. That's my role. Most of my role as a court registrar at this point in time was taking courts. That was when I realised my driver's license was missing and I couldn't find it. And I'm not careless when it comes to personal stuff like that, but that was one of the things that went missing. So I noted that because I couldn't find it, and I reported it as stolen. Okay, so we'll carry on. As soon as I realised it was missing, I tried to get another one straight away, where the Land Transport issued me a temporary one. On the 18th of March 2010, I had the car accident incident, file number 100430/1040. Then I've got Sally Allen, supervisor, public counter. What I've done here in this point, that's the incident number I got from the Henderson police station. I was served by Sally Allen, the supervisor at the public counter. She receipted my protected disclosure, took me in the office, and we talked about the whole incident, the car accident, because I felt that I needed to report the car accident. This is when I also identified the driver, his name being Jesse Stevenson. He was 24 years old. He was Caucasian, European. And then supervisor Sally Allen, she looked up his name on the police computer, and I could just tell from that moment, going back to that moment when I was sitting in the office with her, I just saw her expression of concern on her face. I knew something wasn't good, and she just showed me the photo of the guy and said to me, "Is that him?" And I said, "Yes, that's him." I found out he was affiliated with gangs, and that was all I knew. But she looked concerned. That was enough for me to know that something wasn't right. On Wednesday, the 7th of April 2010, message from the New Lynn Westpac Bank to say that my driver's license was at their office. What happened here, a message from the New Lynn office was left on my voice message in the office, at my work office, to let me know a guy named Philip. I do recall meeting him. I went into the Westpac in New Lynn, and he served me about something, and he left a message to let me know that I left my driver's license there. So I went to New Lynn office at Westpac to get my driver's license. I was still puzzled because I didn't know how it got there at that time, because I knew I had it with me. And I knew without a shadow of doubt at that time, I was confident somebody had taken it from my locker in the office, in my workstation. Motives why I believe this took place. I believe the motives of these incidents was because they thought I was doing something illegal, as they found out information about me being adopted. They also found out personal information that I may not be legally adopted. So I believe my driver's license was stolen to force me to reapply for my driver's license. And what was going on at this time? I had suspicion that somebody was surveillancing me, recording everything, recording my private conversation, and then just different things kind of came out of surface. And it was cybercrime. People was in my business trying to find something, dig up dirt to have against me. So this is why I mentioned this, because at this point of time I was being micromanaged, and just different things that indicated what was actually going on at this point of time. So those were my suspicion. I was being attacked in every area, and I felt like they were doing unlawful investigations. I just wrote in this sentence, my suspicion. They were trying to railroad me out of my job. It was consistent with all the other abuse that was going on at the time. So basically I just wrote down what my suspicion of why people were doing that, because I felt cloned. They were criminally harassing me everywhere, 24/7. Even just to go to the ladies, I was cloned. I felt that people were taking my fingerprints of what just really suspicious stuff. I felt like they were doing illegal scientific experiment on me while I was at work without my permission. There were other really inhumane, illegal stuff going on where I had suspicion that they were trying to find out, take time off, even when when a woman has her period, that kind of thing. That's how I felt. They were monitoring and trying to, well, it was definitely a scientific experiment, but that's what was going on. I felt totally harassed, victimized.